Hey everyone, Chrissy at Pinovate. This tutorial is for our reverse string art rainbow heart. I know it's a lot of words, it might seem a little bit overwhelming, but I'm going to talk you through it and it's going to be beautiful. So in your kit, you're going to get a 10 by 10 wood board, a stencil, sandpaper, nails, white paint, a paintbrush, and then 6 different shades of string. The only other thing that you are going to need would be a hammer.
The very first step is to sand our board. We want to make sure that it is nice and soft, make sure you get the edges, and that there's no slivers coming out. Once your board is sanded and nice and soft to the touch, with your edges all finished, we are going to paint it with your white paint. So you want to make sure that you have a nice, flat, even coat on there. It's worth doing 2 thin coats rather than 1 thick coat. Make sure that it dries in between. Don't forget your edges.
Okay, so once your board is painted and completely dry to the touch, we're going to add on our stencil. So with our stencil, it's already mapped out for us, which is so handy. I'm gonna place it on there, take a little bit of masking tape, and just to make sure that it's not going to move while I'm nailing. And then we're ready to do the nailing. Once your stencil is taped down, we are set to do the nailing, so get your hammer ready. So with your nails, you're going to hammer directly into those holes that are already on the stencil. You don't need to mark them out and take the stencil off, just go straight through the holes. You want to have your nail in about halfway down, all right? So we want to have it in a fair way so it's not going to wiggle out or loosen up. If your nail happens to tip to the side slightly, just give it a little tap, 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 just to straighten it up. Otherwise, have fun. Okay, a couple tips and tricks with your nailing is start with the heart first. It's way easier to start on the inside of your board and then move to the outside. And another thing is every few nails, you want to have a look at it from the side and make sure that they're all roughly the same height. It's easiest to string when the nails are the same height as opposed to really tall and really short. So double check that as well. All right, so all my nailing is done. Once you're finished, all you have to do is pop your stencil right off. And our board is all set.
All right, you've made it this far. This is awesome. So you are going to get 6 different shades of colored string in your kit to go along with your heart here. So you can do this however you like. If you wanted to have strips of color going straight up and down, you can do that. I'm going to do it so it's sections of color coming out from the heart. I'm going to show you the one way to do it, but this again is your project. And also for stringing, you can string something similar to this where it is just straight back and forth in lines, which is what I'm going to show you. Or if you prefer, you could do something more along the lines of this, where it's more random and crazy. So completely your choice, whichever you prefer. I'm going to show you one way, but please make this your own. Once you have your pattern planned out, then you can go to town. So I'm going to show you how to string and start to tie. So with your string, you're going to start with an end, and you're going to make a little lasso. Just a little loop. Just like that. You're going to lasso an outer edge, not on the heart, but on the outer edge, and you're just going to pull it nice and tight, and you're going to give that a double knot. And then just leave the tail for later. Okay, so from this point, I know I'm going to do this section in red. So I'm going to go into the heart and then back out to the outside. And then from this point, from this same nail, I'm gonna go over to this nail over here. So it looks like rays of sunshine coming off. Okay, and then now from up here, I'm gonna move over to this nail. So it looks like it's just straight little lines coming back and forth. And from here to the outside, from here to the inside, just back and forth. Once I'm happy with my section and I'm ready to tie it off on the outside, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a loop, a little lasso with my string, put that loop over the nail on the outside edge and give it a pull nice and tight, and then double knot it. And there we go. Once that's tied on there, you can give it a trim. You can make sure it's nice and close, but be careful not to cut the knot on both of these. Once your first color is done, you can move on to your next color. When you're using your next color, you're actually going to have to double up on a couple of these just to make sure that it loops around properly. So I'm going to tie mine on where I left off and continue that same pattern. All right, I'm ready with this one, so I'm going to do the same thing. And tie it off on the outside nail. All right, so I'm just finishing off all of my colors of string, and I am going to end it off where I started on this outside nail where the red began. And I'm just going to tie it off right there, same method. So just make a little loop, lasso it on that nail, and give it a good pull and do a double knot. And here is our final product. It's so bright and colorful and beautiful. The white of the board actually makes the colors of the string pop even more. A couple tips and tricks. If you find that the paint actually comes off of your white nails, you can take the white paint from your board that you painted earlier and just touch them up so the silver's not showing. Some people like to give the edge a nice border, and you can do so if you wish.
Thank you so much for following along, and we can't wait to see your projects and how they turned out. So please follow us on YouTube and Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of the things. Tag us on Instagram at Pinovate so we can see your projects. Thanks for following along.